The funeral was premature. For years, analysts have forecasted the death of the petrodollar, the 1970s pact that tethered oil to the US dollar and made America the gravitational center of global finance. They saw a world turning east, a dollar losing dominance, and a new reserve era on the horizon. But in 2025, something stranger is happening. The petrodollar isn't dying. It's mutating. Welcome to FluxFolio Finance. Today, we explore the quiet, almost invisible shift reshaping global money. The digital rebirth of the dollar, not through central banks or foreign ministries, but through stablecoins. Let's begin in the shadows, where Tether, the world's largest stablecoin issuer, holds over $118 billion in US Treasuries. That's more than the central banks of Australia or Mexico. More, even, than some oil-rich Gulf states. And it's not alone. Circle, issuer of USDC, holds tens of billions more, often in ultra-short-term T-bills and reverse repo agreements. Together, these two crypto giants have become unofficial liquidity providers to the US government. They don't just track the dollar. They fund it. It's a paradox worth sitting with. The same digital rebels that once aimed to escape fiat money are now its largest private underwriters. And their rise isn't theoretical. Every time a stablecoin is minted, someone has deposited a dollar, or something nearly as liquid, into the issuer's reserve. In practice, that means buying treasuries. In 2025, with foreign demand for US debt wavering, especially after Moody's downgraded the sovereign rating, this crypto-driven liquidity has become essential. But why is this happening now? The answer lies, in part, in the Gulf. In early 2025, as explored in our episode on Trump's Gulf tour, the US administration struck sweeping agreements with Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar, linking oil investments to AI infrastructure, military cooperation, and Treasury support. But here's the twist. These deals didn't just revive the petrodollar. They rerouted it, through digital pipelines. Middle Eastern sovereign funds began channeling oil revenues into crypto-linked funds. Gulf banks adopted USDC rails for cross-border clearing. The region didn't reject the dollar, they replatformed it. And in that replatforming, stablecoins became the new scaffolding of American power. They offer speed, liquidity, and settlement finality. But more than that, they offer the illusion of independence. When a Gulf trader uses USDT to settle a billion-dollar oil derivative, it feels like innovation. But under the hood? It's just another treasury backer. The dollar, digitized. Next, we'll explore the implications of this transformation. How stablecoins may actually strengthen US monetary dominance even as de-dollarization headlines grow louder, and why the greatest risk to this system might not be geopolitical, but technical. It is within the fragile liquidity and the illusion of control beneath the glow of blockchain dashboards and algorithmic liquidity lies an uncomfortable truth. The petrodollar may be reborn in stablecoin form, but it is more fragile than ever. Let's talk about the risk. The entire stablecoin treasury architecture depends on one simple assumption: the peg holds. $1 in, $1 out. But what happens when it doesn't? In 2022, we saw what happens when a stablecoin collapses. Terra's USD didn't just unwind, it detonated $60 billion in value overnight. But Terra was algorithmic, untethered, built on belief alone. Tether and USDC are supposed to be different. They're backed, audited, anchored to real assets. But real isn't always accessible. In a liquidity crisis, if redemptions spike, if T-bills can't be sold quickly enough, if reserves are mismanaged, the peg can break. Even for the big ones. And in 2025, with interest rates volatile, debt markets jittery, and sovereign buyers stepping back, the Treasury market itself has become less elastic. That's the danger. Stablecoins are now too big to fail, but not yet too regulated to be safe. The Federal Reserve knows this. The SEC knows this. And quietly, so do the issuers. That's why both Tether and Circle have shifted towards over-collateralization, reverse repos, and even tokenized short-term notes. It's not innovation, it's survival. But let's zoom out. This isn't just about crypto. It's about the architecture of trust. For decades, the petrodollar was upheld by statecraft. Treaties, diplomacy, military presence, OPEC coordination, central bank swap lines. Today, it's propped up by APIs and wallet balances. The shift is profound and risky. Because unlike central banks, stablecoin issuers can disappear. They can be hacked. They can lose banking access. And if that happens, not only does the peg break, the illusion of the dollar's omnipresence cracks with it. This is what makes 2025 different. We are no longer living in Bretton Woods 2. We are living in Bretton blocks, decentralized, private, fast-moving rails that uphold the same U.S. monetary supremacy, without the same safeguards. And yet, paradoxically, this makes the dollar more entrenched. Because for every critic of the dollar, there are 10 developers building tools that make it flow faster. For every BRICS plus nation talking de-dollarization, there's a hedge fund using USDC to settle trades in Singapore, Abu Dhabi, or Nairobi. Stablecoins have become the lubricant of financial globalization 2.0. So the real question is not whether the petrodollar is dead. It's whether it has become something even more powerful. A ghost, a protocol, a currency no longer backed by treaties, but by code, reputation, and network effects. A system that survives not because people trust America, but because they trust the dollar's software. And that software is now maintained not by governments, but by crypto firms, AI-led liquidity engines, and digital exchanges that never sleep. It's a strange new world. But it's here. And we'd be wise to study it not with nostalgia for what was, but with clarity about what is becoming. Thank you for watching FluxFolio Finance. Like, subscribe, and share if this gave you a new lens on the digital transformation of monetary power. Is the dollar now unstoppable, or more vulnerable than ever? Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and stay sovereign.